There's no mistaking this skidder. The John Deere 948L is a big machine, real big. In fact, four-wheel skidders really don't come any bigger at the moment, especially when it comes to the weight and engine size. The 948L heads up the new L series skidder range from John Deere, sitting above the 848L thanks to its much larger grapple and more powerful 9-litre engine. At just under 22.5 tonne is the heaviest four-wheel skidder you can buy, and until the Tiger Cat 632E arrives, its 281 horsepower output also tops the power stakes. Size does matter when pulling big wood in the forest around Gisborne, as wild hog logging found when attempting to drag large loads through some incredibly wet conditions not long after purchasing the John Deere. Where most others would have resorted to chains, Wild Hog's Josh Williams managed to keep the 948L plodding through the mud on tyres alone, albeit with the front ones half filled with water. The front and rear diff locks also held, and so has the brand new CVT transmission, which has replaced the previous power shift and operates like a cross between a traditional torque converter and a hydrostatic box. The new transmission has 6 forward and reverse gear changes, or steps, programmed into the system, which help with slowing it down when you don't want to use the brakes. But you have to get used to only being able to run it up to 1800 RPMs, because it won't progress any further no matter how hard you push down on the accelerator. It's a smooth transmission, according to Josh, and NZ Logger magazine's iron tester Sam Keith says it's one of the nicest he's ever driven. In our wet and slippery test conditions, we weren't able to get anywhere near the upper limits of its pulling capabilities, but even with 6 tonnes in the grapple, it performed exceptionally well, making full use of the huge 1,276 Nm of torque delivered by the 6-cylinder John Deere PowerTech engine. The grapple is currently the biggest you'll find on any skidder in the forest, measuring just over 2 square metres. The massive tongs open out to just over 3.8 metres, so you can collect a whole bunch of trees in those jaws, but hanging on to them is another story. Josh says he is having trouble keeping trees in the grapple and is looking to weld some plates inside the tongs to clamp onto the trees better. As well as making the grapple some 25% bigger than before, the John Deere engineers also increased the size of the arch and made it easier to see through when backing up to grab a bunch of trees. The cab is bigger too, with lots more glass, especially looking out the rear. The best thing is that the seat now swivels through 45 degrees for a much better driving and loading position for the operator, with steering controls now on the joystick built into the armrests. This makes it much easier to pilot the skidder in reverse, which is what Josh mostly does when returning from the skid site to pick up a fresh load. It's made a big difference to this big skidder.